Hope you're enjoying the music right now on Gold FM. Only the classic hits, especially if you're spending your time at home or around the office. I certainly hope you're taking it easy and enjoying the music coming your way. Well, I got a whole lot more to keep you moving and to keep you going right up until you reach knock-off time. I'm Kara. Join me every weekday from 2 to 7 on The Ride, only on Gold FM.
जहाँ हो प्यार का बसेरा और रिश्तों की खुशबू, वो है आपका अपना घर संसार. Join me on घर संसार, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. only on Radio Fiji 2.
Tonight, signs of support. New Zealand backs Fiji's new constitution. Fijian government says local politicians should come on board. And new player enters e-ticketing market. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and you're watching FBC News. New Zealand has shown support for developments taking place in Fiji. On the eve of the Pacific Island Forum, New Zealand Prime Minister John Key says it's time to work with Fiji and ensure elections are held next year. Ritika Pratap reports.
New Zealand's stand on Fiji is improving. The new Fiji constitution, Key says, is a step in the right direction, and immunity for members of the Bainimarama government is necessary to guarantee elections next year.
One of the constitutional reforms has been to give Mr. Bainimarama indemnity and immunity. That's something we think is a price that has to be paid to have free and fair elections. So we're prepared to swallow that, and I think they should be prepared to make sure the elections are freely held.
Coming a day before Pacific Island Forum members discuss our progress towards elections, John Key has indicated that regional leaders should extend a hand to Fiji.
Certainly, as a group of countries been putting pressure on Fiji to get back to democracy, and we're pleased with what we see in terms of what's coming out of the constitution. And we think those reforms are headed in the right direction, and it seems reasonably clear to us that Mr. Bainimarama will hold elections next year.
Key also told Radio Tarana that support for elections in Fiji will come in the form of funding, security, and observers. Responding to doubts by other Pacific leaders, the New Zealand Prime Minister says there needs to be genuine engagement from both sides.
I think it will depend in part, what the goodwill is on the ground, and also it'll depend in part, what rigor we can put around that as countries that will observe those elections. But look, in the end, it's not in Fiji's interest, in our view, for not to have free and fair elections. That only leads to a retaliation and a coup-type mentality.
New Zealand's support of Fiji's new constitutional development comes on the heels of similar support offered by the Australian government last week. He says they've softened their stand towards Fiji, increasingly issuing more waivers on travel sanctions. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
An acting Prime Minister Aya Said Qayyum has welcomed Australia and New Zealand's acceptance of the new constitution, saying it should be a sign for local politicians. The President will assent to the constitution on Friday, following which all attention turns to next year's elections. Christopher Chand reports.
It's been a long time coming, hearing words of support from neighbours New Zealand.
Also appear that our development partners are quite supportive of it. Certain statements, emphatic statements have been made today. So this will be focused on to ensure that we have the elections conducted in a very credible and transparent manner.
While regional governments are responding to efforts being made in Fiji, Syed Qayyum says it's unfortunate that political leaders here aren't doing the same.
Which is unfortunate because it's not time to play politics. We need to take a national approach, and it's not time to play games.
Come Friday, the new constitution becomes the supreme law of the land.
Yes, we have identified some, some what we call technical glitches, if you like, and they're being ironed out. And in fact, it is currently being printed because we hope to, as soon as His Excellency assents to the Constitution, distribute tens of thousands of copies of the Constitution at no cost, pocket size.
Australia and New Zealand are also hoping to assist in the lead up to the elections by providing technical expertise. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
6 Fijians in the British Army rugby team have been accused of beating up an off-duty policeman in New York. A court in Manhattan heard that the soldiers from the 1st Battalion of the Royal Regiment of Scotland allegedly punched the officer to the floor, then carried on hitting him. US media reports state that as the brawl carried on down the street, it left blood splattered along half a block until the officer pulled out a knife and slashed one of his attackers. The men, who are all from Fiji but are based in Edinburgh, are part of an army rugby team on a tour of the US East Coast. The soldiers are charged with third-degree assault. One is also charged with second-degree robbery. A possible e-ticket solution provider for buses has developed its own system, claiming to be user-friendly. Mika Longa reports Bulamai Fiji, a locally owned technology company, has tested its system with 2 bus companies.
We'll take a Vodafone card.
This is what Bulamai Fiji has come up with.
You'll actually be able to go online and register your cards, okay, and just come in and show us your ID, which we will take a soft copy of and print your cards. You saw it takes 45 seconds to get your card, right? So in 45 seconds, you don't have to wait any long lines. You don't have to do any of that. All our cards, it'll tell you whether I'm an adult. It'll tell you whether I'm a senior citizen. It'll tell you who I am.
Bulamai Fiji has also developed this machine, which Victor Ali says will enable travelers to book their bus seats 2 months in advance.
You don't have to show up to the bus until 5 minutes before it's ready to leave. And you press this, okay? That's all. And if you see, here's my receipt. Here's my ticket for you, okay? And that's your receipt. So now when you get off the bus and he goes and sits in your seat, you can say, sorry, Bosso, this is my seat. So no one can get...
The company has been testing its system in DCs and Sunbeam buses.
It's Fiji made. Okay? People in Fiji made this.
Bulamai Fiji is not an accredited e-ticket solution provider as yet, but is bidding for a share in the bus ticketing market.
Old ladies get thrown out and said, hey, you can't go on a bus because you don't have enough money. Go top up. It's raining. Okay? So we thought, okay, how do we make it easier and convenient for them? Children who have to go to school at 6 o'clock in the morning, where do they top up?
The Land Transport Authority is awaiting the minimum standard requirement, which will contain the prerequisites for e-ticket providers. Nikolonga, FBC News.
Coming up, film festival to encourage local productions.
Nisa mbulo binaka oya wane kamanalangi oni nandorungo viao mai na diwa kina rua na bisinga mai na moni tikina bagarumbu kai na Radio Fiji wana ndoma ibiti bongani bianyanu na makatalengana bengo na sasi biani na tinna kaloka na bembongi ni bukilulu kai na bima mani walu na bembongi ni bakarawai mai na mbuza ni balu ningai na maka.
नमस्ते दोस्तों, मिर्ची रफ्तार से मैं अश्निल सिंह। शामिल हो जाइए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे फ्रॉम 3 to 7 p.m.
Welcome back. You're watching FBC News. A family of 5 appeared in court this afternoon charged with accessories after the fact in a robbery. Soloveni Tambani, Ifremi Bainivesi, Amenatave Kamanalangi, Analatu and Litiana Mbale are alleged to have robbed 2 Russian nationals last Thursday during a drinking party. They allegedly stole electronic goods, cash and a vehicle, all worth over $73,000. Police managed to recover $44,000 worth of items, including the stolen vehicle, which was found in Turak. All 5 have been remanded in custody until the 13th of this month. A 6th suspect, Lenduang Gundru, is still at large, and the court has ordered that no bail will be granted for those in custody until he is arrested or surrenders himself. Fiji imported $68 million worth of dairy products and $57 million worth of meat in 2012. Opening the Commonwealth Veterinary Association Conference, President Ratuepeli Nailatikau highlighted Fiji's need to become self-reliant. Akosita Tale reports this will provide economic opportunities and improve food security.
Around $5 million is spent on livestock research and breeding every year. but consumer demand is at an all-time high.
The consumption and therefore imports of livestock products from dairy products like powdered milk, ice cream, cheese and yogurts to meat, leather and fiber are increasing steadily right across the region.
Growing urbanization and tourism are both adding to the need for livestock products. There is money to be made if we can get the right balance.
Animals are important to us humans in many other ways, not just as food. Precious endemic biodiversity, including animals of all types, shapes and sizes, are essential components of our natural ecosystem.
The government has an import substitution plan in the long run. There are likely to be more choices from homegrown food and livestock.
Our rapidly expanding poultry sector, with production at its highest last year, 18,285 tons, is a credit to the many players and is already taking advantage of the significant export market. On the other hand, we need to do more in the dairy sector, as our self-sufficiency level is quite low at 47%.
Fiji has also experimented with the breeding of tropical non-wool sheep with encouraging results. Akosita Talei, FBC News.
The National Disaster Council has become active in disaster preparedness as we enter the cyclone season in 2 months. Its first meeting looked at new initiatives which are to be implemented should there be a cyclone or any natural disaster. Vasita Kotewasawasa reports.
As we draw closer to the cyclone season in mid-November, the Disaster Council is looking at ways to be of better assistance to the people.
Raising the level of preparedness, particularly with the intention of setting up sites and logistic headquarters in the division so that services to the people is improved.
Inia Seruratu says that this is vital because communications is easily cut off during times of disaster, leaving thousands in the dark when they most need help.
The intention is to build up a strategic reserve where the NDMO office will provide for whichever agencies that require assistance in whichever area assistance is required.
The council also discussed the need for purpose-built evacuation centers. For now, most vulnerable communities depend on churches, schools and community halls.
This is very, very critical for us. We need to build evacuation centers that are safe for the people when they do come to the evacuation centers. These are purposely built evacuation centers, and we are thankful to the New Zealand government for their assistance.
The Fijian government is still building homes which were destroyed by Tropical Cyclone Evan last December. Vasita Kotewasawasa, FBC News.
Movies from 28 countries will feature at the Fiji Film Festival, which gets underway next week. Epeli Tokoasa reports the highlights will be locally produced films and documentaries.
The festival is designed to encourage Fijians to take up movie production not as a hobby but a career choice. 162 films from around the world have been secured for the festival, apart from the many local productions.
There are 21 films made in Fiji. They are the television films, they are the documentary films, they are the ad films. Like last year, they are wonderful films.
Students who took part in the Kula Film Awards will also have their work on display over the week-long festival.
Highlight of this festival would be that there are 24 films made by the students, which Film Fiji has started, and they will be a part of the festival. They will be screened in theatre number 2 in Rawai campus, and all the schools will be invited to have the screenings.
Apart from encouraging local filmmakers and actors, the event hopes to attract large production houses to our shores.
Good for the filmmakers. They get to see our locations, and hopefully by entering their films here, they now know that Fiji is a country that is a viable production destination, and our business systems work for them to, consider filming here.
The festival is from the 30th to the 21st of this month. Epeli Tukuasa, FBC News.
A permanent voter registration centre and a new office for the Registry of Births and Deaths was opened in Lautoka this afternoon. The acting Prime Minister Said Kayum, while officiating at the new office, highlighted how they plan to open other EVR centres around the country. Said Kayum says they also have plans to improve the Suva Registry office. This new office is located next to the bus station and houses both the Registry of Births and Deaths and the Voter Registration Centre.
People come to Lautoka, and so it's makes common sense to have a permanent office here for registration. Obviously, that will expand later on as we get closer to the election period. So we're building capacities for the elections office already in Lautoka.
Sports time now, and Jamie is here with updates from the Pacific Mini Games.
Good evening, that's right. Up ahead, Team Fiji settles in after the opening ceremony this afternoon, and Serwaya Malani preparing to bag our first medal at the Games. Details coming up.
Nimula medangu nimilote na isoro tambua nama kia uminarua kina ona na via kavi moniti kina wakaromuka rongo mena via sana kina viva ko baro takini ndreko malolo ena Radio Fiji 1 na wongani via niano ngai nama kia kina
Bula, I'm Wame. Join me every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on The Center Show with classic hits from the 70s as well as the 80s right here on Gold FM.
Welcome back. Fiji is all set to grab their first medal on day one of competition tomorrow at the Pacific Mini Games in Wallace and Futuna. Weightlifter Serwaya Malani will only have two other competitors in the 48 kg category. And the only question is, what medal is she bringing back? Shelvin Chan reports from Wallace and Futuna.
Serwaya Malani weighs only 48 kilograms, but she lifts almost double her weight. Even one day before the competition, she is trying to better her personal best. She knows too well the pressure of bringing in the first medal.
I'm feeling a little bit nervous, and I'm training very well, and I'm ready for the competition tomorrow.
Malani is the only one that competes for weightlifting tomorrow. On Wednesday it's the boys, and then the final athlete takes center stage on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm ready to take on the stage, ready to take on the stage, ready to fight for my country. Ready to make my country.
Whatever happens tomorrow, the lifters know that the best prepared will be the one with the gold.
The athletes have been training well. They've adapted to the heat. From training today, we have a good chance of winning our first medals tomorrow. And hopefully when tomorrow comes, our athlete will prepare well. And we wish Serwaya all the best for the competition tomorrow.
Competition proper at the Pacific Mini Games here in Wallace and Futuna starts tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. the weightlifting also starts, and with that, it's probably Fiji's first chance of bringing their first gold. Shelvin Chan, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, Team Fiji have arrived in Wallace and Futuna, and this afternoon, led by flag bearer Mbanube Tambakaudoro, took part in the opening ceremony. Fiji is the top bet to take out the games when it ends after almost 2 weeks of competition. The first medals, as mentioned earlier, up for grabs tomorrow. Minister of Sports William Poto last night spoke to Team Fiji and reminded them why they were in Wallace and Futuna. Now Poto is also meeting with counterparts from other nations. He's happy with what he has seen so far and said it was the last pep talk before the start of competition.
It's been wonderful, wonderful reception when we arrived, even though it was midnight. Had a wonderful reception for the people of Wallace and Futuna, and also today with the ceremony. It makes us so unique. It makes you proud to be a Pacific Islander. You watch the customs. That's their signature. It's very similar to ours, and it just makes you feel good.
Today marked the turning point for Vodafone Fiji Mbati's squad prospects looking to stake their claim for a ticket to the Rugby League World Cup. For the first time, players will be tested for banned substances. With only a month and a half left till the showdown in England, the team is not taking any chances. Chalendau Vakavaka reports.
After the Vodafone Fiji Mbati residence trials last week, another stepping stone to their World Cup dreams was presented today. Players were subjected to a drug test to avoid any speculation similar to that which ruled out former Fiji Mbati Jason Bukuya.
The results, all tests will be done today. We've collected it today, sealed it. The players have sealed it themselves. The doctor has seen the collection. There's a procedure so that players don't tamper with the specimen. They have sealed it themselves. We have sealed it and locked it, and accordingly we'll open it in our lab.
Australia-based reps Semi Dakau, Kiti Rasotale and Etuate Tengdagimbau will be joining the squad later this week for the second phase of preparations.
Some of the overseas players, for the resident players, they're coming on, they probably be here by Friday or Sunday of the trial on, we'll be having another trial on either on Saturday, depending when the 3 overseas players are coming.
For some, the drug test may just be a formality, but officials have taken a serious approach to their preparations for the Rugby League World Cup, which starts on the 26th of next month. Chalendo Dakadaka, FBC Sports.
And finally, in rugby, it will be Namosi's chance to challenge Suva for the Fairbrother Trophy on Saturday. Suva rampaged its way to a 23-0 win over Lautoka last weekend and has given Namosi a fair idea of what to expect. However, this has not deterred the challengers in any way.
Fairbrother is a different ball game from the digital, so we're just preparing, upping the A and 10 of our training this weekend in preparation for the game against Suva. Suva is a champion team. We have won the Fairbrother last year. We kept it for the first challenge, and we look forward to a good game this weekend. It's a normal training for the team at Namosi.
That was your Monday Night Sports. It's back to Jackie now for business.
Plans to abolish stamp duty. This was confirmed during the 2013 Fiji Business Forum in Suva over the weekend. Shireen Lata reports.
Stamp duty has been scrapped in New Zealand and Australia. Some local businesses are asking why the same can't be done here. Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority Chief Executive Chitoko Tikolevu says they have no such plans.
Other than that, whether other countries are repealing it, I don't know whether that will dictate the way we want to move forward, but we're adamant ourselves at the moment. That's the way government is going to do, is to continue to strengthen that the collection part of it as well as the compliance.
Stamp duty is levied on legal documents such as lease and tenancy agreements, sale and purchase agreements, mortgages and share transfer documents. Furka earlier repealed its land service tax, and they are also focusing on other legislations. However, stamp duty remains.
So I think stamp duty does provide a revenue stream. It also does, inculcate an idea of stamping duties, etc. We do have a system in certain respects that needs to catch up. So when we have caught up with the system, then perhaps it's something that could be looked at. But this, like the CEO of FERCA said, is further down the track.
The Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority is anticipating $13 million through stamp duties this year. Shireen Lata, FBC News.
The Reserve Bank of Fiji has introduced the country's first ever microfinance awards. Governor Barry Whiteside, while launching the awards, said it will recognize small and micro businesses. The awards will also include banks which provide innovative loan schemes to small businesses.
Recognition needs to be given to those special individuals and micro enterprises that play a critical role in alleviating poverty, providing employment and income to the many needy families, particularly those living below the poverty line.
The awards will be part of the first ever Microfinance Week from the 21st to the 25th of October in Denarau, Nandi. And we have the weather girl joining us now. How's it going, Jen?
Hi, Jackie. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I know I did. A glance at the map shows basically fine weather throughout Fiji today. There was some cloudiness, but it didn't last very long. Now, I noticed quite a few people wearing their jackets and cardigans to work today. And no wonder. Temperatures for all major centers were in the 20s. The lowest was 25 for our pearl farming town in the north, and the highest was 29 degrees for our soccer-loving town in the west. Tomorrow sees those showers creeping in again. Yep, it's going to rain. And there just might be a heavy downpour or two for Savu-Savu and Lambasa. And what a lovely burst of color we have here on screen. Narendra Naidu got this on camera while waiting for the boat to Tavyuni. This is Buddha Bay in Savu-Savu. And when they said it was the hidden paradise, they sure weren't kidding.
Thanks so much for that, Genevieve. The headlines once again. New Zealand Prime Minister John Key has indicated support for Fiji's new constitution and said that immunity provisions are okay so long as Fiji holds elections next year. 6 Fijians serving in the British Army have been charged for allegedly assaulting a police officer in New York. A new e-ticketing solution provider enters the market, saying its software is custom-made for Fiji. Results from last week's poll question, and we asked, do you agree with Fiji FA's decision to allow only Fijians to play in events? 62% said yes. This week, we're asking, with Australia and New Zealand now supporting the new constitution, should all travel restrictions against Fiji stop? Visit our website to take part. Remember to send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj. That's News Tonight. Modemanda.
Isambolo binaka. Nadhango wadi soni dalai. Nama kio mani wasini ngono borota kina lali ne kabi. Maina tolu kina bitu. Ena moni tingina por rombuka. Ena Mbula FM. Na bandu ena serre.
I wake up in the morning, I prefer to go down to the gym, get a bit of physical work done. Also, later on in the day, I decide to go through for meditation. I do a bit of reading to find out what the latest songs are, a bit of research. And for me, it's all about the listeners.
Hey, what's up? I'm Rio, and this is the Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 o'clock to 7, only on Today FM. Today's hit music. What's up?